Shayy, and this is my story. So I lost my sight when I was about 16 years old. I was starting my junior year of high school, and everything was going fine. I was in show choir, I was a lead in a school play, I was doing my regular classes, everything was going fine. Until eventually it wasn't anymore. So I started to notice a change in my vision one day, and I complained to my parents that I think I need glasses, I don't know what's going on, but I can't really see things as well, my textbook, the board, all that stuff. And they were like, okay, we'll set you up an appointment. So they set me up an appointment. I finally went to my appointment, and once I got to my appointment, the lady does all the tests and all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, this is weird, but okay. And she's like, well, you have what we call papilledema, which means both of your optic nerves are swollen. And I'm like, all right. And she's like, well, that means it's a brain problem. I'll make a phone call real quick. She goes, she makes a phone call, comes back in less than 5 minutes. She's like, you need to go to the ER now. And I'm like, now? She's like, now. And I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'm going to the ER then. So me and my mom get there. We go to the ER. Of course, we're in the ER for a while. And us being in the ER for a while, because I have no symptoms, I'm getting CT scans, contrast, all of that stuff, the follow my finger test, all of that. And then one doctor slips up and's like, oh, we're gonna try to save you from going blind. And I'm like, whoa. Because keep in mind, me and my mom have no idea what any of this stuff means until that doctor says that. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean going blind? I'm like, what are you trying to say? He doesn't really say anything more. So I call my friends and explain to them what's going on. And we don't even know exactly why I'm having this issue yet. So finally I go have an MRI, and that's when they find my brain tumor. Now I have what's called an epidermoid cyst, which is skin tissue in the wrong place, which was causing me to have hydrocephalus, which is too much fluid in the brain, which was causing me to have papilledema, which is a swelling of the optic nerves. So with all of that being said, they were like, oh, we need to have emergency surgery and things like that. And I was like, whoa, no, I don't think emergency surgery. They were like, are you having symptoms? And I was like, not really. I had one, that's a headache. And they were like, oh, okay, well then maybe we can be more careful with how we do this. So they went in. They were only able to get half of my tumor out, but they gave me what's called an ETV, and it's like a hole somewhere else so that the fluid doesn't ever build up like that again. And they were like, from my optic nerves, this swelling should go down, but mine stayed swollen for an abnormal amount of time, which was okay, which caused some of the nerves to die from being swollen so long, which left my vision where it is. And in my vision being left where it is, I still continue to go about life as usual, I was in the hospital joking, and I was learning my lines to my play still and the songs, because I was that dedicated to my role. This was my first lead role ever, and I was like, I'm not about to lose it just because of my situation going on right now. So I showed up at school, well, not officially at school, but at the play rehearsals 3 weeks before the premiere of the show. And I got permission from my neurosurgeon to rehearse with the kids and actually be able to do the show. And we literally did it. I did the show. Of course we had to change a little few things, but me, since my character's name is Aida and she's a slave, I was bare feet, so it was easy to make certain things, the different textures on the floor, so I know where I'm stepping at times, or different signals from different characters that we had so that the audience couldn't tell what was going on, different things. It was new to them, so it was new to me. I became the first disabled lead at my high school. So it was a really, really great and exciting thing. I did this show and I had a blast and I absolutely loved it. But then I was at home and, I was doing my work from home. I finally went back to school in January of 2018. And in going back to school, that's when stuff was a little more rocky, because it was kind of like a little battle with the school to accept what was going on and kind of deal with it because they were trying to tell me, it wasn't a life-changing situation, that I need to stay in high school an extra year, even though I have all my credits. I was like, I'm not staying here an extra year. I did what I needed to do to graduate on time, so that's what I'm going to do, and you need to let me try the classes before you try to take me out and different things. So that was a little bit of a battle. Also, while all that's going on, I'm in show choir still, as I mentioned earlier. Now, my choreographer's mother was visually impaired, so he was like, what do you need from me to help you learn? He was like, I'm not giving up on you. And I was like, okay, cool. If you're not gonna give up, I'm not gonna give up. We're gonna do this together. And all of the other kids in the class were very, very supportive. So it ended up happening, and we did our show choir season and actually got grand champions twice that year, and I also got best soloist twice that year, which was also my first time getting best soloist, so I was so excited. And I got to wear my special shades on stage. I was the only person on stage that had them, so it worked out because I was the soloist, so there was that. Then that summer in about June, I auditioned for my city, the city of Richmond, here in Virginia. I auditioned for their version of Aida because they were having one, and I was like, oh, since I loved this show so much the first time I did it, I want to see if I can do it again. So I tried out, and I actually ended up getting the role again, and at this program I became another first disabled lead, and also the first lead to not ever take like any of their classes or anything and just automatically get a lead role. And I also started the matinee for the blind and the tactile tour, because the stage and everything, I had something to do with it because they had to make sure it was workable for me, so it was able to be walked and things by other visually impaired or blind people. So I was so excited that I got to do that and start that for them. I was really, really great. The show was amazing. I was so happy. I got to meet a bunch of great people. And then that August, I auditioned in my city again for American Idol because this was their first time coming to my city. So I was like, oh snap, I gotta try out. I will say I tried to back out, but my mom wouldn't let me. So I ended up auditioning, and I made it to sing in front of Luke Bryant, Lionel Richie, and Katy Perry, and I was the last person on my day to sing for them. So I was excited and nervous at the same time, and a little tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I did it. I sang Rise Up by Andre Day, and I got a golden ticket, so I made it through to Hollywood, and I turned 18 right before Hollywood Week started, so it was a little nerve-wracking to be newly legal, and to the show, you're automatically an adult once you hit 18. So I'm like, oh gosh, I don't even know how to be an adult, and you're making me an adult. So Hollywood Week was very stressful, I will say, but it was worth it. I enjoyed it. I made it through the first round and made it to group night, and group night, I was so nervous that I wasn't going to meet a group that was going to want to, work with me. But I was so thankful to find out the group members that I had were so willing to work with me, and that they were willing to try to understand and everything, that it was so great. Meech, Will, and Asada, I love them to this day. I still communicate with them. I made goggles as a school project to simulate my vision as close as possible, like with what we had, paint, construction paper, and nail polish. Like, that's the best we could do. So, and the science goggles. So that was the best we could do. So I gave them to them, and they actually wore them during our performances, and to this day they still have them in their closet somewhere. So it's really cool. Once I made it all the way through Hollywood Week, I made it to the top 40, and I went to Hawaii for the first time, and I was on Disney's resort called Aolani, their brand new one, and I got to sing on the beach, and I sang All I Ask by Adele, and it was really, really nice. It was so pretty. I had a white dress on with this lei, and not a lei, it's called a haku, but it's like a flower crown. and it was all white. And basically, as I'm walking on this, as I get on the stage, it's nighttime, and like the wind picks up, and then it starts flowing my dress, and then I start singing. It was really, really cute, and it was magical. It was beautiful. But I did get eliminated. Sad, but I got eliminated, but it was okay. I came back home and went to school as normal, because obviously I couldn't say anything, didn't tell anybody anything. The only people that knew were the people that knew. And they couldn't say anything either. So after all of that, about May of 2019, I think it was, they called me and they were like, Shayla, can you come back? We want you to sing with a special guest at the finale. And I'm like, okay, who's the special guest? They're like, Andra Day saw your video and she wants to sing with you. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? I get to sing Rise Up with the lady who not only sang it, but wrote it. She recorded it and wrote it, and I get to sing it with her. She wants to sing with me. So yeah, I got to meet Andra Day. She is so amazing. She was like so sweet, and she was so cool, like down to earth, all of that. I got to meet her and sang the song with her. It is great, and I will never forget that moment a day in my life. And then I graduated high school, and I've been recording and performing ever since. And I've been trying to continue to inspire, been teaching myself how to do my makeup and different things like that.